Hi, hi, hi. Welcome back to Breathe More Birthday Edition. I just celebrated my 44th birthday, and I'm using it as a time of reflection of just looking back the last year and everything that happened, that didn't happen, what I navigated, what I manifested, what I didn't manifest, what I'm healing. And so that is today's episode. I want to share with you what's been going on in my life, not just in business, but also personally. So last year in December, I had made the decision of leaving Los Angeles after being there for nearly 20 years. So I had been there basically 19 years living. And I never thought that I would leave LA. Like literally, it was my home. And it was the one place that I had been at the longest. I mean, the only other longest place I have lived is Napa, which I was there for 18 years. And I always saw myself as a city girl. Like my community was there, my business was there, friends, family. And then I got really sick. And then the universe, I thought, was blocking me and finding a new place to move into, a place that was mold free, a place that was decent, that didn't feel like it was a compromise. And that's when it opened up towards the end of last year when I was turning 43, where the idea to move to Idyllwild came up and things just started to fall into place. I remember actually, now that I'm thinking back, it was at the beginning of December that I got my first rental in Idyllwild, this like beautiful house with a hot tub and a seasonal creek, and I could walk into town, and it was completely remodeled and I felt safe in it, and it was just the perfect place to land in a new town. And so that's how I started my year. How I ended my year, like packing and saying goodbye to LA. I did this beautiful ceremony that I was guided through to show my love and appreciation for the house, even though at the end it got me real sick. But a lot of life happened, a lot of expansion, a lot of growth, a lot of healing. It held space for so many people, including myself. And then the transition happened into moving to this very small mountain town, Idyllwild, which is a small town above the mountains of Palm Springs in the San Jacinto Mountains. And it definitely has been an adjustment. Like at the beginning, I mean, I've never lived in a place with snow. I had to learn how to put chains on my car. I was so afraid to drive when weather was bad. You know, driving in the snow isn't bad, but what's really bad is driving in when there's ice. And unfortunately, just the windy roads and all of that. It's tricky. So learning how to do that and navigate that and face my fear of that. Also, meeting new people and navigating that. I mean, luckily, it did feel a lot easier compared to what I had been feeling in LA, where in LA, I was constantly asking myself, like, who are my friends now? I had outgrew my acting friends. Everybody was either still doing that or had moved away or was having their own families or had their kids. And towards the end, the people who were becoming my friends were people who I held space for, like my former clients. And when I came to Idyllwild, like people are very helpful and it felt like it was easy to meet people and to hang out. I mean, everything literally is a 5-minute drive from each other. So making plans last minute was super easy. You didn't have to worry about traffic or parking, like everything made it just easier in that sense to meet up with people and commune. I'm also really grateful that Ana Flores, who I think I've mentioned before, she is the founder of We'll Grow Latina, and she lives up here as well. She moved up here in September of last year. So grateful that we're both here. Both Anas are here in this small mountain town because it has been a ritual for me of meeting with her every week and just kind of talking CEO talk, talking about our businesses, talking about life and encouraging each other to dream bigger. So that I'm so grateful for that relationship and that friendship that this mountain has cultivated and nurtured, and that we get to support each other because there are plenty of times as well that it feels really isolating. And so with that, one of my biggest stressors wow, for this last year was finding a home still. Like, yes, I manifested this beautiful temporary home for the first 4 months, and then I moved into another place, which looked really promising and I was excited about. It was outside of town, so I was even more removed from what was happening in town. But it had privacy. It also had a hot tub. It had an amazing view. However, that house got me sick. Unfortunately, there was a rodent, a mice infestation that I don't know how long it's been happening, but once the weather got warm, they came out. And unfortunately, the owners didn't really want to do anything about it. And so my mold symptoms got re-triggered. And I felt like I went back in my healing and detoxing of my mold poisoning because mice carry a lot of diseases and their feces. I mean, this is so gross. It's almost embarrassing to share it with all you. But yeah, like they were in the air vents. So anytime I used the heater or the AC, like I was breathing in that air. And unfortunately, I developed asthma in that house. I felt like the rug was being pulled out from under me and it created a lot of anxiety. I mean, the symptoms in itself, like there are neurological symptoms when you're exposed to mold, which this house also unfortunately had. So then I was in a rush to move into my new place, current place. And when I moved to Idyllwild, my intention was to upgrade my life. I want to live really well. I want to have a beautiful rental home. And I got that, like the first two rentals. And then this one, it's just a house. By the end, my list of what I needed was clean air, mold free, and just safe, a place where I can really just let my nervous system regulate, like deeply regulated. I had moments of that throughout this last year, but then activations as well, right? Then the stress of, oh my gosh, I have to move again and there's nothing available. Oh my gosh, I got sick again. And then other things as well that just created a lot of feelings of unsafety. So looking back on this year as well, sharing with you one of the biggest things that I've had to heal that came forth really strong. And basically, when I say heal for me this time around, it was reprogramming. So changing my unconscious beliefs around how I view safety. Growing up with loving parents, but a lot of chaos, addiction, uncertainty, lack of safety, lack of emotional regulation. My nervous system, I was always on high alert. Like I grew up that way. So that's why I always had anxiety. And that's why into adulthood, like I had all of these health issues because of the anxiety and just the prolonged time that my nervous system was dysregulated. And so I was looking to anchor and to find safety in external things. So for a long time was like my career, my business, even now, like, oh, I need to make X amount of money, then I'll feel safe. Well, guess what? I would reach those money goals and I would still not feel safe. Like I still felt anxious. Some money programming, old programming would still get activated. Then it became my home. So it's like, okay, this house represents my safety. Like I feel safe in here. Then it got me sick with mold. Then I moved here. And then I really don't know how nomads do it of constantly moving and living out of a suitcase because all of my stuff was in storage. And basically, I just had the bare necessities that I needed, which was my work stuff, my computer, some files, all of my folders of notes, and then some clothes. So I tend to wear the same stuff over and over again because, again, most everything was in storage. And it's fun at the beginning, but then it gets like, I'm not a materialistic person, but the few things that I have, I purchase them with intention and they're high value and they're for a purpose. And so I was really missing my kitchen tools, my knives, like all the little things, my pots. I was missing my bed, my pillows, the little things that also give some comfort and just a sense of home. So throughout up until recently, I was just floating around, which also created a big sense of this deeply unconscious fear and feeling of I'm not safe. And so it would manifest in different ways. Like again, in my body, my sleep was disrupted. no matter what I did, like, oh, also, all of these memories coming back of the last year, I would constantly have a stiff neck. And it didn't matter if I got a massage or not. Like, I thought it was the pillows that I was sleeping on. I thought, but then I wasn't even sleeping with a pillow. And I was just sleeping, like rolling a towel just so that there's some support on my neck. But then I would notice that my neck would lock up during the day as well. So all of that is just stress, like deep rooted stress, not even just what's going on, but it's what currently was going on, what activated the deeper sense of not feeling safe. So I started working with a local acupuncturist and she did cupping and that like released the my neck locking up. So I'm really grateful for that. But yeah, it was a moment of reflection of like, oh my gosh, like I keep hoping that this thing outside of me will help me feel safe. And there's temporary moments of feeling safe, but at the core, I have to figure out how to feel safe within myself so that no matter where I am or who I'm with or what's happening, I'm able to connect with that deep sense of safety and self trust. And so I'm still working on that, folks. I am feeling so much better. And actually, I'm really grateful as I transitioned from 43 to 44, feeling again like reconnected with like everything's going to be so good. Like it's all going to work out. I'm going to manifest and accomplish these bigger goals that I have. This last year just felt like a lot of grind, like really doing the work, investing a lot in myself, in my health, and also in my business so that I can get to the next level. And I'm feeling this energy of like, okay, I did all of this last year. Thank you, 43, for being courageous, for making that a priority. And now 44, like this is going to be a fun year. This is going to be abundant. There's going to be more adventures. I have the stability of a home, of a safe home, and things are just going to feel easier. So I'm really, really excited about that and grateful, finding the gifts and all of the difficulties this year that I navigated to get to this point. And then my biggest manifestation, which was a complete unexpected, was manifesting my little cat, Maxie, where the death of my little TJ, my dog, 4 years ago was extremely traumatizing. And there's still a lot of trauma there just because of what we went through, especially him. And I was just afraid to become attached again, to love, the fear of losing them. Also, the commitment, like the financial commitment and the time commitment. Like, yes, I work from home. And so there's that, but I also travel a lot. I've been going to LA minimum once a month for work, for in person sessions. I have retreats that I host. I go to conferences, VIP retreats, all of that. So I didn't really want to deal with getting a pet sitter and all of that. But I recognized in September that I was craving another living being in the house, like just having the connection, not necessarily a human, but an animal where you can love on and it's just easier. But I didn't want a dog. And so I let that go. Like I made the intention, I'm like, okay, I think I might be ready for this, but I don't want the responsibility of dog because that just feels like so much more. Never in a million years would I have gotten intentionally a cat. I had a lot of friends, especially when I was dealing with the mice situation. They're like, just get a cat. And I'm like, no, I don't really like cats. And oh, I don't want them to walk all over everything and you have no control over them and they can be kind of moody. And then Max showed up and he is just a bundle of love. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out one of the later episodes where I talk about a manifestation gone wrong. And this is when Maxie came into my life. And already I've been his mom for, I guess, a month and a half. And already I have learned so much. So definitely the surrendering and putting into practice. There are a lot of things that I'm not in control of, including a cat. I really tried at the beginning to make him an indoor cat, but since he was a stray, like there was just a lot of fighting and tension. But I'm back to making him an indoor cat just because it is dangerous for him to be outside with all the wildlife. And I'm planning on moving at some point, and I travel to LA, so I would like to bring him to LA. So he just needs to be comfortable being inside. So that's what I'm currently working on. But it's been such a blessing, and he's brought so much joy, and he has brought the connection that I was craving. He has allowed me to, well, not allowed me, but like forces me to take breaks because he needs to be fed or he wants to be played with. And so it's good for a workaholic like myself to remove myself, step away from the computer, shut it down, and have some time with the cat. His purrs are so healing. One of my favorite rituals with him now is that I start my day and I end my day with him on my belly, and he does his little like kneading, and he likes sucking on one of my cashmere sweaters. Like basically, I gave him one of my sweaters, and that's the sweater that he grooms me with, and then he ends up falling asleep like a baby. It's just so sweet. And I do my deep belly breathing as he's doing his thing, and it's beautiful. It truly is. It's one of my favorite things of the day. So that was a beautiful, unexpected manifestation and gift that came into my life. And then with other things, navigating the challenges of being an entrepreneur, like I'm really grateful that I do have a thriving, successful business, but also I have big goals, as y'all know. Like that is the name of my business, Dream Bigger Media. It is the name of my mastermind. It is so much of just how I approach life. And I have really big goals for my business as well. And I didn't meet them this year, but it was a lot of investing. It was a lot of learning. It was a lot of getting coached myself. And so again, I'm feeling really confident for next year that things are finally going to change and I'm finally going to reach those new milestones. And I'm excited for my new offerings that I have created and continue to evolve. I already booked my Sedona retreat house. So that is happening next year in October. I really love hosting retreats, these like intensive experiential moments for people just to dive in and have deep transformation and healing. So that is happening. Save the date, October 22nd through the 26th. And yeah, just grateful as well for all the new people in my world, for you listening to this podcast. I'm proud of myself for being so consistent that every week, or sometimes it was more than one a week, I would put out an episode. I'm so grateful for all of your support and for spreading the word on this. Like my goal with this is to, again, share tools, help empower you, help you be reflective on your own life. So as you're hearing, my recap of the last year, I invite you to do the same, especially perfect timing since it is the end of the year. And just whether it's through thinking or writing, thinking about what worked for you, what didn't work, how did you grow, what are the blessings, what were the hard things, and just also celebrating that you got through it or you're going through it, right? So that is my invitation to you to do after listening to this. Thank you again for all of your love and all of your support. I wouldn't have this beautiful business where I really get to do my soul's purpose without you. And so thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, friend, happy birthday to me. And thank you again for all of your love. I will be back next week. And until then, remember to breathe more.